Okay, hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in the last video we saw how we can generate this selenium docker.jar file and selenium docker tests.jar file and this libs folder in the target folder, right? So and also we saw how we can execute these jar files using the maven commands. So we can execute our project using the maven commands using these jar files. Okay, we are not executing it like because we have everything in the jar files. We have the page objects, we have the test, everything, and we can execute. Now what we want to do is like, okay, we will create an image using these selenium docker.jar and test.jar and the library folders and test.ng.xml. Test.ng.xml because we have our test instructions here in this XML file, how we have to execute, whether we have to execute in the parallel, what are the test cases. So we will create the image. So to create the image, what we need? So we have already learned, okay, to create an image. Before we create an image, friends, we have to see whether our grid is running or not. So to see that, let's let's check our Selenium grid is up and running or not. So we will go here. We will say localhost 4444. So my grid is running and up and running. If it is not up and running, you know what to do, right? You have to go to the path where we have this Docker compose file, because in the Docker compose file, we have this setup, how to run the grid. Okay, we have already discussed this. Now you just go to this path and then you go to the command prompt and say Docker compose up. So once you say Docker compose up, it will execute the grid. The grid will be up and running, so you can use it. Now our grid is up and running. So what we have to do now to create the image, we need this Docker file. So let me open this Docker file. So what is this Docker file? We already discussed what is Docker file. So Docker file we use to create the images, right? So this is the base image which we are using to create our own image. Okay, and this is the working directory here. So we have already discussed what is working directory and everything. We are copying the Selenium Docker jar from this target folder to the in the container, and the name will be again the Selenium Docker jar. Again, we are copying from this target folder this tests.jar in our container, and name is again the same Selenium Docker tests.jar. We are also copying the library folder and also test.ng.xml. And we have our entry point, like when somebody is executing this image, like they are running the container, this command will be executed. They are not overriding. So if this command is executed, means it will run our project. So whatever our project is doing, okay, it is running, it's operating the google.com, it's entering some value, it's verifying something, whatever test we have, so it will do that. Now let's see how we can create the image from the command prompt. So let's clear this screen and let's see what Docker is. Minus E. So if you see, we have three containers: Firefox, Chrome, and Hub. They are all running, and they are into. We created this all three containers using the Docker Compose, right? So they are running in the same network. They know each other. Now we are going to create one more container that is for our project. We are going to create an image. So to create that, so friends, I think you already know how to create that. So the command will be Docker build minus p and the name of the username in the, like whatever you have username for Docker Hub, and then provide the name of the image. So you can provide any name that you want to create for your image. So I say, okay, I want to name, let's say, Selenium Docker, whatever you are comfortable, you can give the name for the image. And then you have to also provide the path where we have. So I have my Docker file in my root directory. So I will just say Docker file.txt. Okay, that's it. And you have to provide the dot after this. I will tell you why. But for now, just provide this and run this. Okay. So the Docker file name is Docker file. So when you do this, it will read the Docker file and it will create the image accordingly, whatever we have in the Docker file. So I just hit enter. Okay. So now it's creating the image. So now if you go to the Docker images, see Docker images Docker images. So you see we have created the Selenium Docker image, right? But this image is not running. We just created the image. Now if you run the image, then it will be like running our project, right? So we can run in two ways. Like you can run and you don't provide the entry point, then it will just execute. But suppose we will go to the entry point, like we'll do some entry point. Let's see how we do that, and then we will do the other way, like without entry point. Okay, so Docker Docker. To run, we have the command called docker run minus an entry point. We all know all these commands, right? So entry point is bin cell. Okay, so we want bin cell where we can execute whatever command we want, whatever we want control in our hand. So we are saying bin cell. So we'll get a command prompt where we'll do that. So I will show you. So the name of our image is selenium docker. Okay, let's. So we got a cell. See, Google automation. Now this is in the interactive mode, and this is we got it. Now if you go to the another command prompt and see what containers are running, docker psc. See, now this selenium docker is up and running, so we can use it. Now we want to execute. Okay, let's see what is we have in our current directory of container, right? So okay, we have this libs folder, and we have selenium docker dot um, test jar and selenium docker jar and testng.xml. So this looks good now. To execute this, we have to say java minus cp and then whatever jars we need. So we need selenium docker jar. Okay, then we need selenium docker test dot jar. Then we need libs libs folder. Then what else we need? We need testng.xml. To provide the testng.xml, we have to say like this: org.testng dot testng, and then the name of the testng XML that we have in our Eclipse. So if you see here in Eclipse, we have testng name. It can be like testng1, 2, whatever, or some other name also. So whatever is name, we will provide after this here. So we'll say testng.xml. So this is the name of my XML. Okay. So what else? I think that's it. So let's run it. So it run, but it's saying it skipped 6. So it was not successful. Now, since it was running in the container, now once the execution is done, we cannot see the result, right? Because it was running in the container. So if you want to see the result, what to do. But let's see. This is our okay. So yeah, we can see it here actually. Index.html, right? Mm, no, cannot see. So what we have to do is we have to do the volume mapping for this. So if you do the volume mapping, then we can see whatever was running in the container. We can see the reports, and accordingly we can see why it's skipped, right? So we can see what's the problem. So how we'll do the volume mapping? So to do the volume mapping, let's exit from this cell and again run our. Let's clear this screen. So let's run it again. Docker run minus it. We want an interactive mode. Entry entry point entry point is equal to like this. Minus entry point is same. Then minus volume mapping. So in the volume mapping, what we will do is okay. We want C users. So actually here we have to provide the path of our so here we have to provide the path of our Eclipse, right? And then we have to provide the path of our container, okay, the current directory. So let's see what is the Okay, so this is the path of our project where we are generating the output, right? Test output. Okay, so we want to map it. So the command will be okay. So first we are providing the path of this one. So let's okay. And the first argument here we want to provide okay which place we want to generate the output, right? So we will say okay, let's see. We will create one output folder here. Maybe I can create one output folder, or I can go here and I can create one output folder here. Okay, let's create one output folder. Output folder. Okay. So this is the path that I want to create my volume mapping, right? So this is what I have to provide here actually. Okay, so we are saying this is our this is the path where we want to take the output from test output. Okay, so that's it. Now if you hit enter, okay, so there is some problem. So to do that, we have said minus v. Okay, so that's it. So we did the volume mapping, but we have to also provide the name of our image, right? So 964 selenium docker. It's saying Docker error response from an invalid name users Vivek Mishra. Okay, so it's saying the invalid name. Okay, friends. So we did one mistake. The mistake was so if you see here, right, Docker run minus entry point. So this path here, users, we don't have to provide C again here. Okay, so if I remove the C, it is working fine. Okay, so now let's see what we did here. So we are saying okay, Docker run in the interactive mode, entry point is this, and volume mapping. So the first path, the C users, this is the path we have in our Eclipse. This is the path where we are generating the report when we are executing it in the our Eclipse, right? So this is the path, and then after we are executing, and this is the path in the container. Okay, so this is the path in the container. So container is generating this path, but we are mapping it to the output in our Eclipse. So if you see right now, we don't have any output folder here. We have test output, we don't have the output will be created. So I will show you when I run it. So now the first part is little bit confusing, sorry guys, but let's understand again. So the first, this path, okay, this is the path where we want to save the result after we execute. From where we want to save? So this is our target here. When we run the container, this is generating here at the runtime, and then we want to save it here. So after run, if you come to this path, you will be able to see the result. And this path, because this is the container path, right? So you will be not able to see it. This will be gone. Okay. So now after we provide this our image name, now it's running. Now what we have to do? Now we did the volume mapping. Now if you see ls minus a, see, now we have everything is there. So now if you run it, let's see what happens. So okay, Java minus cp, and then we have to provide all the all the jar files. So let's see what we have. Selenium docker dot selenium docker dot jar. Then we have selenium docker tst dot jar. Then we have libs libs. We need all things from libs, so we are saying /star. Okay, and then we have to provide the org dot paste ng dot paste ng dot xml file. Okay, now let's read. So this time it's saying it skipped 5. Okay, so still it's saying it skipped 5. Why? So okay, so let's, now we know, we can see the report here, right? So if you go here, see this, let's refresh it. So this output folder is we deleted. I created it by mistake. So this one, go to Google Automation, and so it should be created here, friends. So we did the volume mapping, right? Eclipse workspace output. Eclipse workspace output. So let's execute one more time. Maybe something wrong. Okay. Now if you go here, okay, let me see. So the output folder is not created here. It should be created here. So let me see why it's not created. Just give me a second, friends. Okay, friends. So I think, yeah, we are getting some issues while we are trying to do the volume mapping. So I will look into that. But since I know the problem, we will just complete this video, and then I will look into why we are getting that volume mapping. So we are getting, the volume mapping is getting done, but the files are not getting saved. So maybe the reason is like something like access issue or something like that. So I have to look into that. But so why we were getting, now I'm getting past, but why we were getting failed is because as we already know now, that our grid is running in one container, right? This is a grid where we are running Firefox, Chrome, and this is the Chrome, Firefox, and this grid, they know each other. But our Selenium Docker, the image that we created, the container that we are running, that is a different container, and that don't know about this container, right? So while we are executing, we have to tell that. So let me tell you how we can do that. Okay, so let me exit from here. So let's clear this screen. So when we are running our container and we are providing the entry point, with that we are also saying the network is minus network is host, means our local host. So we are telling our container, this Selenium Docker container, okay, when you are running, use this network host. Okay, so that it will be able to know our grid and Chrome and Firefox, everything. So now if you run it, hit enter. Now if you run Java minus cp, and then we'll say okay, Selenium docker dot char, and then we will say selenium docker. Or docker es tastes dot char. Then we will say okay, lips, lips and test, and then we'll say okay, taste no. Say org dot testng dot testng dot no dot here. We'll say okay, testng dot xml. So now let's see. Now we are executing. See, this time it's able to run. And if you go here in the grid, right, if you refresh it, see, it's using the Chrome, right? Two request is waiting. So now it's able to execute. So last time we were getting error because this Selenium grid don't know about that. Now if you see, the total run is 6 and failures is 0 and skip is 0. You can also do one more thing, like when you are running. So if you like this way, it is working because when you provided the run command, it knows the the grid container. Or you can also provide here. Okay, um, I will also provide here. Let's see here. Maybe I can provide. Okay, I can provide the parameters, right? So our parameter is okay. We will say minus d hub host, right? Minus d hub host is, so we are showing okay. So this is my hub host. Okay. So what is the hub host? So if you go here and where we are running this, and if you go to the, so this is done now. So if you config, so this is the host 172.1.8.0.2. 172.1.8.0.2. So you can say 172.1.8.0.2 and hit enter. So this time also it will be able to execute. Yes. So let me exit and let me run it one more time. So this time when we are saying this docker run, let's remove this network from here. So let's see this time. Um, remove this network from this and hit enter. And now we will say Java minus CP. So now our Selenium Docker don't know about the Selenium grid. So what we will do, let's see Java minus CP Selenium Docker dot char. Then we have Selenium Docker tastes dot char. Then we have libs lips, and then we will say minus d hub host is equal to 172.18. What was that? 0 18.02.0.2, and then we will say org dot testng dot testng dot test no dot here testng dot xml and just hit enter. This time, let's see. So since we provided our host name here, it should be able to run. So it is still running. You can see here what's going on. You refresh it. So this time, since we did not provided the network name in Docker run command, maybe it's not able to reach. So let's see. Okay, friends. So it's not able to reach because we did not provide it. Then I just wanted to see it. So we have to provide the network name while we are running the docker run command. But in the Java -cp, whether if you provided the network name, then you are good. So you can just say Java -cp, and you can provide the hub host also. So that is fine. So what I will do, I will just kill it. And so now in this video, we learned like how we can create the image and how we can execute those images from Docker, right? Thank you, friends. Let's meet in the next video.